Recording is hot.
Recording is hot.
Mic check.
Mic check,
Mic
mic
check.
check.
Mic check.
Cool. Does that sound good?
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great show.
What's good? Welcome to Thursday Therapies. God is good. I'm your host, J.DIDIT. And I have Anthony Xavier Jackson. Sorry.
No problem.
Anthony Xavier Jackson with me on Thursday Therapies. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
excellent today.
Good.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Welcome. This is a safe place for you to lay your shit out.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm good today. I feel blessed today. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very
So,
blessed today.
yep. Anthony is a local author, musician, poet, writer, and he's been on the scene for quite some time. And I have him here today. I want to know how his week's been going. How's your week going?
This week has been really, really good. Yesterday we had an alumni meeting at my recovery center, and it was really rejuvenating. We had a lot of people come by, people who graduated in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, and they just got up and explained how the place helped them, you know. And
That's amazing.
a lot of them are still doing the sobriety thing. They're still going to meetings. They're doing what got them better, and so that was super rejuvenating. I wasn't gonna go. I was like, I'm just gonna stay at home and watch something stupid on TV, but I went, and I've been doing a lot to feed my spirit this week.
That's rewarding. That is
Yeah.
very rewarding to see people in there for
Yeah.
multiple years, decades,
Oh, yeah.
to come in there and graduate and
Yeah.
just have so much years of recovery and
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to be there for the newcomers. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was great. We had like burgers and everything. It was just a great event. As you know, we had a poetry event, which you were a part of, and I'm very
Right.
grateful that you were a part of that.
It was.
And this is Recovery Month, and so for those of you who don't know, I work as an alcohol and drug counselor. I've been doing that for about four years or so, and I work in a residential facility. And for Recovery Month, we've been having a series of events. One of which was last week, a poetry reading, and J.DIDIT was a part of that,
It was
and I hope she will
amazing.
be a part of the ones to come in the future, because they let us know they greenlighted a monthly event.
Yes.
So it's a thing now.
Yes,
So,
no, it was an honor for me to be able to show up and show out and just be there and hear all the other people in there.
Yeah.
Their work is amazing, and it just is
yeah.
very therapeutic.
Yeah.
On that note, what are you doing for self-care?
Well, for self-care, my routine is pretty simple. A lot of that has to do with just like, it sounds very basic, but meal prep, right? So when I, on Sundays, get in the kitchen and cook for myself, I know that throughout the week, I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm getting enough nutrition.
Right.
You know, I get my greens, I make sure there's lots of colors, and when I do that, I feel really good throughout the week. Meal prep, I go to the gym. I don't go to the gym fanatically. I used to go to the gym fanatically, but I kind of calmed down on that. Self-care this week has been really present. I went out to go see Billy Bragg with some friends of mine,
Nice.
this famous English musician, and took a concert in, and just trying every day to do something creative. Whether that be working on the GTFO journal, which I've been working on pretty hard.
That's amazing.
Just getting that formatted and learning how to do that, or just taking care of myself. Today I sat down to lunch, and it was food that I made, and I felt this feeling I haven't felt in a long time, which was just like feeling really fulfilled by food.
That's amazing, because for me, you said it's pretty basic, but meal prep
is.
it takes some time,
It
you know,
does.
and you really have to get in the habit of it and used to it, and then
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot. It's not
Yeah.
it's not that basic, because
Right.
first you have to plan what you're gonna make, then you
Yeah.
have to go buy what you're gonna make and
There you
have
go.
all the ingredients,
There you
then
go.
you have to prep it all, then you have to cook it all, then you have
Yeah.
to package it all, you
Yeah.
know, and so
Yeah.
it's not that basic. I mean, once you get the hang of it, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
basic, but I've tried it before and I fell off.
Okay.
You know, you're inspiring me to want to try again, because
Yeah.
I've been having a difficult time trying to balance that part out of my life as
Yeah.
far as eating, you know, wanting to eat all the colors of the rainbow, you know, in
Yeah.
vegetables and fruits, and
Yeah.
just making sure that my diet's healthy. But
Yeah.
I say that because self-care is very, very important in the line of work that you do.
It is.
You know,
oh, absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
and not only that, just that it's great. Times are crazy right now. You know,
Oh, yeah.
everything that's going on in the world, it's crazy. So
It's super expensive to eat out.
it's super
Or
expensive to eat out.
yeah,
It is.
Or to order. Like, I mean, if I had everyday Uber Eats money, I'd probably not be working as a counselor.
right.
But, yeah.
Right. I get it.
One thing that I've discovered with meal prep, it's not so much about what you make, but how you, it's not so much about what I make, it's about how I make it.
Right.
And if I notice if I'm rushing through, all right, I'm just going to throw together this lasagna, and it just kind of it doesn't feed me as much.
Right.
But I've gotten creative. I've been outsourcing. Like, okay, I'll go over here, and I know this place has vegan tamales, so I'll buy 5 of them, and I have 5, and then I'll cook around it. And so, in a lot of ways, my self-care is all about just using my creativity, whether it be in cooking
That's amazing.
or in my job. My job can be challenging, like you say, and I notice that if I go in and I don't have a decent meal and I don't have at least 7 hours of sleep, I'm basically useless.
Shot. You're
Yeah.
shot. I get it. I
Yeah.
know. I've worked in the field. I've
Yeah.
worked in the field, case management, and I just
Yeah.
know you're constantly taking on other people's energy in their
Constantly.
space. And
Yeah.
if you're not, your body's not nourished enough, you're going to burn out, and you're going to burn out fast.
Absolutely. And the clients notice.
They do.
And
they do.
they'll start. It's like being in a pack of wolves, and
Right.
and they'll start. Their shenanigans will ramp up, and before you know it, you got a house full of crazy people doing crazy things because you didn't get enough sleep.
Right.
or
And
you
then
didn't
now
feed yourself.
you're with them.
Exactly.
because now you're hangry.
Exactly. Yeah. So yes, self-care, man. I really encourage everyone to get to know your self-care.
Yourself.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
'cause
my
everybody's is
self-care is
different.
not your self-care.
Absolutely.
Right? But I can learn from your self-care.
Absolutely.
I can
Like
learn
you're
from everyone
inspiring me.
else's.
You're meal prep. You're inspiring me. Yes. We can
Yeah.
all learn from each other. That leads me into my next question.
Yeah.
So, do you believe in seeking outside help, therapy,
yeah.
and do you trust it?
Yeah. So a saying I heard a long time ago when I decided to get into the field is that counselors need counselors.
Absolutely.
Right. And I went for a couple of years like, yeah, that's cool. That's a great platitude. But all that started to catch up with me when my dad got cancer and he went through his transition. And so for the past 2 years, I've been in therapy. I believe in the power of therapy, even if it's just me sitting down talking to someone about how my week went.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so I trust outside help, and I highly encourage everyone to avail themselves to some sort of outside help.
It's amazing.
Have
And
someone to talk to.
I believe that, and I am with you 100%. I encourage people to get out there because it's just
Yeah.
another safe space, just like Thursday Therapies. Hey,
Yeah.
it's just another safe space for you to be able to go out and
Yeah.
Speak with somebody and get that shit off your chest. Get it off.
Exactly.
Don't leave that
Yeah.
stuff inside because it
Yeah.
festers inside of you,
Yeah.
and that causes a lot of stress, anxiety,
Yeah.
burnout, sicknesses.
of
So
stuff. Yeah.
for you to be able to go to a therapist, it's just another safe, non-judgmental space for you
Oh,
to
yeah.
go and have access to being able to let your shit out.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
being judged
Yeah.
for anything,
Yeah.
and nobody else has to hear.
I think everyone deserves therapy because, working as a drug and alcohol counselor, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that the drugs and the alcohol are just a byproduct of a deep-seated, mental,
Trauma.
yeah, whether it be trauma, PTSD, depression, anxiety, all the not so fun conditions that are cousins of one another and usually drag their cousins along, as soon as there's an opening. But most of the things that people are going through are due to unaddressed mental health. And most of the things that I've gone through in my life have been due to unaddressed or unacknowledged mental health. And I believe in therapy, especially for us as Black people, because there hasn't been a stretch of time. I think of my grandmother. Did she have someone to talk to besides maybe
Right.
the pastor or her neighbor?
Right.
They didn't.
Right. And
You
that's the big stigma is the trust right there,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
being Black, you don't trust, not even medical doctors. It's hard
Right,
for you to
right.
get to there for regular care,
Exactly.
and a a lot of people of our culture, our ethnicity,
Yeah.
don't go until it's too late. Oh, you're
Right.
gonna, take some Tylenol or take some Advil or something like
Right.
that until it's too late.
Right.
But it doesn't have to. There's so many preventatives for you to be out there, so you don't you don't have to take this journey on your own.
Exactly. I mean, there's no. I think of Chris Rock's joke. We just took the tussin.
Right.
you
Put
just
some
take-
tussin on it.
Right.
Put some tussin on
You
it.
can't-
Right.
You can't when it comes down to your mental health, because not only are we affected by our mental health state and our spiritual state, our children, our pets, the people we work for, the people we work with, and the people we love,
Society.
and
Period.
society in general,
Right.
are affected. And my childhood was just like a lot of trauma, and when I look back, I was just like, well, I was just sharing that trauma with the world. 'Cause I
Sharing
didn't
it,
know
right?
what to do.
You do what you learn.
Yeah.
It's learned helplessness. Pretty
Exactly.
much. That's
Exactly.
just what it is. You grow
Yeah.
up, you do what you learn.
Yeah.
And you're out here in this world,
Yeah.
just surviving like the
Yeah.
rest of us.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
there are resources. There are resources. And
There's a huge variety of resources too, and there's a huge diversity in the providers these days. My therapist is black. My therapist is a gay man. My therapist is just like super open and listens and
That's comforting.
Exactly.
That's so comforting.
And I think as little as 20 years ago, that diversity wasn't there.
Right.
And I realized for myself, being a black man who's a counselor, there aren't a lot of us out there.
There's
right?
not.
And when I encounter our people coming into detox or coming into residential, I know there's a connection there, because I was there at one point. I wasn't
Right.
at a house, but I was there at one point, and I looked around and I noticed, well, there's a lot of these people and there's a lot of these people, and there aren't a lot of black men,
Right.
doing
Right.
this kind of work. And so I consider it highly important, and I think we do better when we tend to see ourselves in the people who are
100%.
helping us.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I
believe it.
appreciate the fact that you are in the field.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
And that this is your passion. And
This is my passion, and I love it, and I highly encourage it, because I've been doing so many therapy sessions since I was young, and it's helped me to navigate through this life. Shit's
Yeah.
been difficult. Shit's been real difficult, still
Yeah.
difficult, but you
Yeah.
know what? I'm still here. I'm still, kicking and
Yeah.
rebranding myself, and
Yeah.
it helps, I can go to sleep at night and not have all the worries of the world.
Yeah.
In my mind and keeping me up at night. Like,
I know how
it's
that
helped.
feels. Yeah.
It's really helped.
I know how
So
that feels. Yeah.
that goes into my next question is,
Yeah.
what are some coping skills that you use to help you get through the tough days? Like, I know days are challenging.
Sure,
You
sure.
you can work out and you can be nourished. You can, have
Mm-hmm.
the best night sleep, but shit still happens.
Of course,
And
of
you gotta hold your composure.
Yeah.
What are some coping skills that you use?
Well, having a connection to the recovery community, even though that is not as consistent as it should be, if you ask my sponsor, but having a connection to the recovery community, and sometimes my coping skill can be something as simple as I'm going to go home, I'm going to eat a big bowl of cereal and watch something stupid on TV.
yes.
But if that's what I'm doing like 7 days a week, then I know there's something wrong.
There's an issue. You gotta call
Right.
your therapist.
Right. So with coping skills, I believe there's a huge balance. There's a huge juggling act of balancing coping skills. One of the things I really enjoy about my life recently is that I know that I'm not alone. I know that I can call people.
Yes.
I know that when I'm going through something, I can pick up the phone and call. Now, whether I do that or not, I'm trying to get better at that, because I'm the type of person who just likes to, I'm just going to do it on my own, and I'm going to, if I don't tell anyone that I'm in crisis, then maybe I'm not in crisis.
Right.
So
I relate.
that having been a coping skill for a long time is one of the coping skills that I have to put aside. So I would say that reminding myself that I am enough, and that whatever it is that I'm going through is exactly what I need to be going through. And that I don't have to go through it alone. My poetry is a coping skill. Performing, coming out to
Yes.
open mics,
Yes.
especially when I feel like, I don't want to go do that.
Yes.
Right. I come out and I hear something, listening to music, learning about other poets,
Yes.
learning about other cultures. Being creative is I think my main coping skill.
Right.
And that's a gift. And caring for others. learning how to
It's-
care for others.
It's a beautiful gift.
Yeah,
It is a very
yeah.
beautiful gift to be able to do that
Yeah.
and still,
I think we take it for
maintain.
granted.
I think we do too. I think, we do. It's an awesome coping skill.
Yeah.
I've loved it, since my mom passed away, and
Mhm.
I've been writing more and performing more. It's definitely helped me break out of my shell
Yeah,
and
yeah.
become who God created me to be. And,
Yeah.
be on this platform right now to
Yeah.
be able to speak with folks like you and,
Yeah.
get our message out there so that we can help somebody
Yeah.
down the line, as many people as possible. Even if we just help one person today, it's amazing.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, the caring part, because I grew up with this impression that love was everything. And people would tell me, like, when you love really intensely. But then the grandmother of the mother of my child said something to my face. And at the time, I took real offense to it. She was like, Anthony, you're the type of person who loves and loves really deeply, but you need to learn how to care. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know me and this and that. But years later, I'm like, no, she's right, because no one ever really taught me how to care, whether it be
Right.
for myself or anyone else. And so right now in my life, I remind myself there are many, many people in my life who I love. And I love them freely, and I love them, with all of myself. But I also care about them.
Right.
I care whether they're having back pain. I care
Right.
whether they get a good night's sleep. I care about the animals in my life. I care. My whole life has started to revolve around the concept of actual care,
Actual care.
actual caring.
And
for
self-care is key.
Is-
Once
is-
you're
yeah.
able to do self-care
Yeah.
and care for yourself the way
Yeah.
you need to, it
Yeah.
all falls into place.
I agree. And it's challenging. It can be challenging, especially in the realm of interpersonal relationships, because we can get into relationships. I can get into relationships quite easily, but what I've been letting myself know is that it's okay to actually care about the people that I'm involved
Right.
with.
Right.
Go out to dinner, listen,
Right.
cry with them, go home and just eat food and
Right.
do all the human things,
Right.
rather than intense relationship.
Right. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful thing. But you learn that, when there's so much toxicity going on in your life,
Yeah.
it's just chaotic. So
It is,
you
it
don't,
is.
sit down and take the time to care.
Right.
Because everything is on go mode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
being able to be humble and present and in
Yeah.
the moment, and to be able to care, and then feel
Absolutely.
the care of somebody else caring for you is amazing.
That's the challenge.
You know,
right?
because that's
That's
not
the
always,
challenge.
people don't reciprocate. They don't,
Yeah.
see the same way you care, or aren't going to care the
Absolutely.
same way you care.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I ask
That's
people.
amazing.
I often ask people in groups, how good are you at helping other people? They're like, yeah, I'm always there for the homies and this and that. I'm like, well, how good are you at receiving help?
Right.
Oh no, I can't do that, man. People might think I'm soft or something. And it's
Right.
like, you don't got to live that way no more. And I have
Right.
to remind myself.
It is
of
hard
that.
because I
Yeah.
was just gonna say that's the same thing. Me, it's just a go getter. Like, you got to get up and get it. You got to go do it. Because
Yeah.
I'm just so used to doing everything on my own as it is.
Yeah.
And, rebuild myself and working and to
Mhm.
get to everywhere. Because I came from nothing, so I had to do that my entire life. So
Yeah.
I'm just so used to it. But to be able
Yeah.
to receive it from other people, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the gift. And prayer is a coping skill of mine. I pray every day. I pray for just the strength to follow the will of my higher power.
100%, yes.
Pray for the strength to set aside my own immense and troublesome ego.
That's key.
And,
That is very
yeah.
key. I mean, I'm working on some of that stuff myself, and it's very key to be
Yeah.
able to do that and move forward and not take that into the future,
Yeah,
and not all that baggage from the past ripping and running. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing to be
Yeah.
able to be guided by God and
Yeah.
not have to take that shit with you. You know
so
what I mean?
step work is also a coping skill.
It's a very good coping skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pivot.
Of course.
And what are there any new projects you're working on? Old, new?
I've been working on music lately. I believe I shared a piece with you, and I've been working on trying to actually play my instruments. I have a lot of instruments at home, and more often than not, I can be the type of person who's just like looking at my guitars on the wall, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm trying to create something on a weekly basis, be that a song or just a spoken word piece. I have this studio at my Avail. I'm going to start using the studio to produce some more stuff.
Yes, shout out City Soundbites,
Yes,
CSSB,
CSSB,
Sacramento.
right? Like,
Yes.
look, if you're in Sacramento and you want a place to come and flex your creative, muscle and learn, this is that place.
This is an amazing place. Like
It has been.
it has been for me. I feel
Yeah.
like I've been growing and growing and growing, and now I'm actually using the resources
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's just been amazing.
Yeah. So one of the things I've been working on intensely, as I mentioned, is the GTFO journal. We plan to have a journal out next month that is showcasing local poets, and so what that work entails is just learning how to format, learning how to just put stuff where it belongs, and get it up on Amazon and get it out there. I've been working on submitting poems and getting my stuff published. This has been a kind of slow period for that, but I am also working on my own poetry manuscript, which I plan
Nice.
to release at the beginning of the year, the beginning of next year.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm constantly out reading and working on the poetry event at A House where I work for Wellspace, and
Monthly now.
monthly, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I like that.
So a lot of my creative endeavors have to do right now with working with others, which is something that I haven't done in my my creative life a lot until I moved to Sacramento.
Just collaborating.
Yeah, just collaborating, listening to other people, being a part of your show, or collaborating with Sac Poets. We just did a play, Estrellas y Sueños, with Al and Raya,
Yes.
and I was able to just sit and use my talent for playing guitar to color
Amazing.
their
GTFO,
words.
Sac Poets Society.
Yeah, we've done a few events. We did the Words for Winter event, and my goal is to keep cross-pollinating with other poets and other poetry groups in order to show that we all do this thing. We all do it in our own way, but we do it even better together.
Collaboratively, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Both shows were a hit.
Yeah.
I went to both. I was able to go and
Yeah.
Sit and watch, and it was just amazing. It was amazing.
yeah.
So
Very
much
humbling.
talent.
Very humbling. to be a
Sacramento
part.
has a lot of talent.
It does,
A lot
yeah.
of talent.
Exactly. In my day and age, in the late '90s in San Francisco, I thought San Francisco was like the epicenter of poetic expression. And sure, a lot of great poets have come out of San Francisco, but until I landed in Sacramento, I never felt like at home as a poet.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
very
this
diverse.
is the place.
It's very diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Absolutely.
it. I love it. Is there anything that you would like to share? One of your old pieces or new pieces?
Sure, I could share something. I hadn't really pulled anything up, but if you give me a second.
So are you participating in anything? Any features or showcases?
We're going to feature on Monday at the Sac Poetry Center. GTFO's featuring, so we're going to do a feature there. And next month, or the month after next, for Terry Moore, I'll be a part of the Kings and Queens of Poetry event on
Okay.
November 2nd. I believe that is at the Creative Arts place out on, I'll look it up.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been invited to do that, and that's what I got on my calendar so far as like appearances and such.
Okay.
So I'm usually here on Tuesdays, so it's always a joy to be here. There's Sacramento Poetry Week Gala that's going to be put on by Andrew Defy. I'm hoping GTFO might get to be a part of that.
Okay. And that's in October?
That's at the end of October.
Yes.
Yeah, for Sacramento Poetry Week. We've also been invited to do a regional transit poetry, kind of guerrilla poetry thing.
I seen that.
So yeah, we've been invited to do that. So yeah.
What does that entail?
As far as I know, it's like get on the bus and read a poem.
I love that.
Yeah.
Free ride. If you read
the
a poem, you
get
will
the
get a free ride.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is, I believe, on October 27th.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to get the day off and just do that. You know?
Okay, that's nice. That sounds.
I mean, you know, more and more as I'm part of the scene, I'm realizing that my passion is poetry. My passion is sharing poetry with the public, and so there are so many people in this community, like Jenny Davison, who know the ins and outs of promotion and
Okay.
publicity, and I need to pick their brains because we can do more than open mics. I mean, we can get ABC 10 down here to see, you know, one of our open mics.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
I'm down with
I
it.
want to learn all that stuff. I need to learn all that stuff. So I was listening to The Last Poets on my way over here. Lately, I put together a Spotify playlist of just spoken word, and I put it on random. And the Last Poets, their work has always been super influential in my life, and I know I grew up listening to those albums, and I know that influenced me as a child. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that.
And you're doing it.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
So, I really appreciate everything that they did, with the exception of at times they were really homophobic, and that, you know, I'm sure at the time they felt that there was a place for that, but we live in a day and age where acceptance and diversity and inclusion is part of how we're going to survive. You know?
Absolutely, it's growth. It's
As a
growth
people.
as people. You
Yeah.
know, and more knowledge with social media and
Absolutely.
you know, the iPhone. It's you can get any type of any knowledge. You know, you can look anything up. So
Absolutely. So with that in mind, I wanted to share a piece of mine called Babylon Chant.
okay,
All right. So thank you for allowing me to share some of my work.
yes,
Everything is personal. Everything is political.
yes.
Prince writhing on stage in his girlfriend's high heels, with her stockings acting merely as a banana peel, made all the more slippery by the thrumming bass and the gut-punching drums illustrating perfect possession. In his wild waistline, which rose and fell without much permission, like that smile upon his childish face. To one day, though, be erased by a synthetic opiate they now mix up in the truck stop bathroom sinks with recipes downloaded from Tor in disappearing ink. Everything is personal.
Everything's
Everything is political. Now, Nancy Reagan, she could never just say no to the fame promised in Hollywood backrooms if she would just simply blow. Hidden in the White House bathroom, she sneaks a puff of a Lucky Strike, covers the scent with osium, thinking about how she never became Marilyn, but she got the best man, who lets her deprive those gays of medicine, watch them shrivel like the non-filtered in her hand, practicing her best smile, prepares to pretend satisfaction in front of a whole nation, denying her ongoing oral fixation, because everything is personal, everything's political. Crack cocaine in a war-torn ghetto burns not as nearly as smooth as the Contra propaganda, not smooth as that thalidomide baby's brain, not smooth as the hips of HIV-positive dancers on Soul Train, not smooth like the once unmarred lungs of the Marlboro Man. Sweet, sweet cocaine pops and blisters like smuggled guns in the hands of traumatized grandchildren of hooked veterans. There's a war on drugs, but the drugs won. So thank you, Mr. Reagan. Thank you for the trickle down. Everything is personal. Everything is political.
Wow, thank you, Anthony
Thank you.
Xavier Jackson in the house. Yes,
Thanks.
a poet, a true poet. That's amazing. That is amazing. Well, that's the end of my podcast for today. Thursday Therapies. Check yourself. Check your health. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram
Oh, yeah.
at
Thursday
Anthony
Therapies.
Xavier Jackson Poetry. You may find me on SoundCloud. You will find a collection of my pieces, for better or worse, under my name, Anthony Xavier Jackson, and I have a Bandcamp, and that is Kastruba, Kastruba, which is a collection of my albums, and those are pretty much my social media handles, and the best way to connect with me is basically SoundCloud. You know, if you really want to get to know like who I am, listen to my music, because my music has my poetry with it. I'm not a singer. But I do recite my work to my music. And you can also check out the GTFO Poetry website, gtfopoetry.com, and check out my brothers and my siblings in poetry and their work. And yeah, so that's how you find me.
Thank you.
I wanted to shout out Jay's merch, right?
Yes.
So,
Thursday Therapies. Check yourself. Check your
Thursday
mental
Therapies,
health.
right? So yeah. Come
Absolutely.
get some merch.
Come
Put
get
it on
some-
your cars, in your
Come get some
laptops.
merch. Come get some merch. Come sit in the chair. Come let that shit out. Lay it all out at Thursday Therapies with J.DIDIT. Hey. Hey.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Awesome.
I think he's still recording. He'll just cut it. I forgot he had the merch. I'm going to start making t-shirts. He's getting me
Oh yeah, you gonna do some t-shirts?
t-shirts, hats, all that good stuff. I got so much stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
I
amazing.
appreciate it.
That was so amazing. Thank you. Yes. Let's see. I wonder if he can cut that right now and then upload it.
Yeah, it needs.
Because I want to be able to. We could take a couple pictures out there and then so that we can promote it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get this stuff together. Yep. Take your stickers with you. Put them on your water bottle or wherever. I was gonna give some at the
Yeah. That sounds-
last Friday. I was gonna
Yeah.
give some to some of
You're
the
gonna come to
people.
the next
Leave
one, right?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
give some. But